I was sitting quietly with my 5-year-old grandson, the hum of violins masking the unease gnawing at my chest. My son stood at the altar, smiling at the woman who'd clawed her way into his life. She wore white, but it wasn't purity. It was disguise. Then his tiny hand gripped mine. "Grandma, I want to leave now." He leaned down, forcing calm into my voice. "What's wrong, love?" He trembled, eyes wide, and whispered, "Haven't you looked under the table?" My blood ran cold. Backstory. I met her first, before my son did. A chance encounter at a charity gala, where her laughter rang a little too sharp, her eyes calculating, even while pretending warmth. She charmed everyone, especially him. I saw the way she touched her arm, subtle, claiming, planting herself like a parasite on his future. He thought it was love. He thought it was a phase until the divorce papers came from his first wife, the woman I had grown to love as my own daughter. She left quietly, bruised in ways she didn't put into words. My son's new flame slid in as if she had planned it all along. I tried to warn him. He brushed me off. "She understands me, Mom." No, she had studied him. That's different. Discovery of betrayal. It started with the finances. His company funds dwindled. Trips, she claimed, were girls' weekends had the scent of another man's cologne clinging to her dresses. Then there was the day I stopped by unannounced. The curtains drawn, the laughter inside, not his. I didn't confront her. I smiled politely, as if I hadn't heard the quick shuffle of footsteps escaping down the hall. The evidence piled up. Messages I wasn't meant to see. Receipts tucked into her purse. Lies told so smoothly that my son couldn't hear the crack in her voice. I was blind. But I wasn't. And when I saw how she looked at my grandson like he was an inconvenience, a loose end, I knew she wasn't here for family. She was here for the inheritance, the power, the name, the shift. I didn't rage. Rage gives you away. Instead, I started small. I studied her as she once studied my son, her weaknesses, her patterns, her greed. Every predator has a blind spot. Hers was arrogance. She thought she was untouchable. I became the shadow at her side, listening, smiling, agreeing. Every word she spoke, every lie she thought slipped by. I filed them away. I had time, patience, and an iron will sharpened by betrayal. The plan. First, I found the other man, the one she thought she had hidden. I fed him whispers, let him taste the possibility of what she truly wanted, money. I didn't like being second place. Then I worked with my grandson's mother, my son's first wife. She was quiet but not weak. She still loved him in her way, and she loved her child fiercely. Together, we traced accounts, collected records, pieced together the web of deceit. I kept my son in the dark, not out of cruelty, but necessity. He wouldn't have believed me until the proof was too heavy to deny. Piece by piece, I pulled the strings. Legal documents, timed leaks, allies in places she didn't suspect. By the time she walked down that aisle today, she was stepping into a cage of her own making. The climax. Back to the wedding. My grandson's trembling voice still echoed in my ears. I lifted the tablecloth, and there it was, a phone. Her phone, recording a live stream hidden carefully, angled perfectly to capture the vows, the money, the show. Broadcasting not love but leverage. She was feeding someone proof of her victory. I smiled because this was the final piece I needed. I reached under, pressed the stop button, and slipped the phone into my purse. My grandson exhaled in relief, trusting me without question. When the priest asked for objections, I stayed silent. The room applauded as they kissed, but I knew what came next. Because as the champagne flowed and the music swelled, men in suits quietly entered the back of the hall. Lawyers, my lawyers, with court orders, bank records, and custody agreements. At the exact moment she thought she had secured her triumph, her accounts were frozen, her lover exposed, her lies documented. The phone in my purse, evidence. A stream meant for her accomplice. now proof of her intent. My son's face crumbled when he finally saw it all, document by document. The betrayal was undeniable. She tried to plead, to twist her story, but the net had closed. And in that hall, with eyes burning into her from every corner, she realized what I had done. Resolution. I didn't need to scream. I didn't need to curse. Justice had its own weight. She was escorted out, her empire collapsing around her, her name forever stained. My son wept, not for her, but for the years lost. And when his first wife placed a gentle hand on his shoulder, I saw the faint spark of something real, something not built in deception. Later, as I tucked my grandson into bed, he looked up at me and asked, "Grandma, is she gone?" I brushed his hair back and whispered, "Yes, love, she's gone." And in the